Have you ever seen it?
Have you ever seen?
Have you ever seen?
Have you ever seen?
Have you ever seen? Have you ever seen?
Have you ever seen?
Have you seen?
Introducing Alex, Luke, Sam and Rob, who in just a moment will attempt to entertain their fellow man through the medium of podcast. It is said in some cultures that the recording of a person's voice can capture more than mere waves of sound, and that one's soul may quite literally be on the line. A simple myth? Plain old superstition? Our hosts will soon find out as they switch on their microphones and send a broadcast through the Twilight Zone.
Beyond pleasure.
Toxic chemical waste. They're back.
Hello and welcome to Have You Ever Seen? My name's Luke and I'll be your host for this episode. Joining me this week and introducing themselves with their favourite plot twist, we have Rob.
You thought they were flashbacks, but they were actually flash forwards.
Oh, intriguing. Sam.
They were allergic to water.
And Alex.
The haunted were being haunted by the living, not the dead.
I love Casper.
Right, so before we dive into this week's focus, have you ever seen?
Foci.
Focus. Before we talk about the Twilight Zone this episode, I was going to ask you guys what have you been watching this week, but I think there's been a big movie release this week that we've all got to talk about, and that is What Men Want. So, no, Avengers Endgame came out this week, and we've all seen that, and we want to talk about it.
Did What Men Want come out this week?
I don't know.
I really want to see that.
I do want to see that, actually.
Sam, you're on holiday. We all went to watch it without you.
It was quite good.
Yeah.
I'm so annoyed.
Yeah.
I do. Is it an actual sequel to What Women Want?
I want to see Mel Gibson now come in at the end, just angry, swearing, a few racial slurs.
Oh yeah, I wonder how he
Drunken.
feels about
We know
the
those
black
stories.
recasting of. Okay, well, Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame. We're going to talk about now, and we are going to go full spoilers. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, please skip ahead to 22:07. Let's go. So, Avengers Endgame.
I want to hear what Alex thinks first.
I want to hear what Alex has to say, because Alex always has the most controversial.
Bang average?
Pick it apart, Al. Pick it apart.
Honestly, I think
Bang excellent?
I think it was the best superhero movie that I think I've ever seen. I think The Dark Knight's possibly a better movie, but I think
like a
as
serious
a
film.
superhero film,
It's
I think
second
Endgame
only to Howard the Duck.
is second only to Howard the Duck. No,
That's
thought it
one
was
thing that really
incredible.
gutted me, that he didn't come in. I would like to see that be a little plot contrivance somewhere. Get
What,
Howard
Howard?
back, yeah.
No.
I think I don't know. I think Howard's Guardians of the Galaxy specific character at this point in the MCU.
Oh yeah, he could
isn't
come in, couldn't he, with the new Guardians, sort
Yeah,
of possible spin-off.
Yeah. But no, I thought Endgame was incredible. Like, I think they just paid off everything that I wanted.
There's
I
a
think
lot of fan service, wasn't there?
yeah. I saw more than I expected to see, and it was better than I thought.
So
it was gonna
Rian
be.
Johnson, who hates fans, made The Last Jedi your least favourite film. This film I felt was the opposite of that, wasn't it? That he really does love the fans. Well, they love the fans. They're so brothers, and really give a lot of nods to people who've watched all these.
But with The Last Jedi in mind, I also think Endgame's very good at subverting expectations. There's a lot of things that we expected to see going into Endgame that weren't actually up on the screen. I mean, I think anyone could have put money on it, expecting to see a Hulk versus Thanos rematch. And then instantly, you know that's not going to happen.
Somehow bring Gamora back to have a moment with her father, things like that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And she's kind of just gone by the end of it now, isn't she?
She's back, but she's a different Gamora.
She's not back at the end of it.
Yeah, she is.
Well,
She's alive.
After the second click.
After the second click, they're looking around for her and she's gone. And she's not at the funeral at the end with the rest of the Guardians. She's not leaving.
I mean,
So,
she's back in this universe, but she's not back with the Guardians.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
think
when
she's alive.
Tony snapped to destroy his army, surely he wasn't specific enough in that moment to go destroy the whole army apart from Gamora from 5
Maybe
years
you just
ago.
like destroy all the baddies.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
It's subjective though. Isn't it?
I
Subjective.
think Gamora's back, and the next guys will be tracking down Gamora
Okay.
and getting her back on crew.
Definitely. That's the payoff at the end of Endgame, isn't
That's
it?
what those four
the Asgardians
noises
of the
are at the
galaxy.
end of the film. They are just them kind of, I don't know, hammering up signs and have you seen
Yeah,
it?
some of the ridiculous comments about this online have been crazy. So right as the end credits roll, if anyone stuck around and heard just the clanking of
Tony Stark in a cave building his
building your first armor, which is the birth of the MCU. It was the first film.
It's a flashback to where
it was a callback.
You mean when Reed Richards was personally building the Baxter building?
No, he was,
now we've got all these ridiculous.
It's one clank per member.
Wolverine smashing his claws together or something.
4 times though. Like,
Rob, what did you think? Avengers?
I loved it. I had no issues with it whatsoever. Like you said, it subverted expectations, but it was far superior to anything I thought it would be.
I think it kind of started slow for me, but then the more I think about it, the opening, when I look back, was better and better because it was kind of a slow opening and it just felt like it was just trying to pick up the pieces from Infinity War, and it kind of... But you kind of accepted that in a way because it's a 3-hour film.
Yeah,
so by the time they got to the end of that, there was a whole
I think
other
that's
film.
my favourite part of the film. I think that's the film's greatest strength, is that it's not just half the universe has been clicked into, not existing, and this film we can just click it back and everything's fine.
Yeah.
It spent a good hour
explaining the rules.
the whole tone of the film is extremely somber.
Yeah.
And it's sort of weighed in that melancholy.
Well, if you're going to bring a bit of time heist in and say we can use time travel to fix this, what people don't want to have the idea is that, we can literally fix everything
in the future.
Loki's back.
And I think they do a good job of that.
Everybody can just come back.
I was explaining the plot to my wife, who just won't watch anything without seeing all the spoilers first. She wants to know everything in advance. So I told her the whole plot, and she said the same. She's like, can't they just fix everything with time travel? And I was like, well, no, they do a good job of explaining that this is the only real time it'll work.
For example, if you were to take Tony Stark out of his time and bring him back now into this timeline, then he wouldn't exist in that other time, would he? That wouldn't have happened in their time, and it would ruin everything. It would splinter off into another time that'd be broken.
Well, they've kind of saved 2 universes, haven't they? They've killed Thanos in their own universe, and they've killed Thanos from another reality.
It's been a universe where Thanos and everyone just disappeared all of a sudden. That's the universe I would like to have seen.
Nothing bad happened in that one,
you see him sort of in the very first film as a teaser, and then you never see him again
because
in any
he's
other
been
film.
Killed in a separate universe
because he just vanished.
Maybe that's what happened to the leader. Maybe they.
I wonder if that's already happened in our MCU. I bet if there's another threat that we were supposed to have, but another universe has dealt with.
Super Hitler.
Yes, yeah.
It was impressive how they succinctly explain the physics.
Yeah.
But then it kind of makes you realise how you don't understand the physics at all.
You see Ant-Man, old Ant-Man, young Ant-Man, which is a great baby Ant-Man, great scene. And that kind of helps all these little comedy moments explain something far more complex, don't they?
Yeah. The idea that the minute you go to the past, your past is now your future and your present is your past, and it's a new time. That's interesting.
No, I think
they
Cap nailed it.
Helps symbolise that as well when he stayed in the past age and it kind of went, that's what would have happened kind of thing. Again, it makes sure people understand what would have happened if they'd tried to change it a different way.
I think I've got the feeling that of all of you, I'm the most sort of critical of Endgame. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a massive accomplishment. I think we've got the same critical points on it. I absolutely love it. As a film, it doesn't work. It's messy. Like it's almost Batman versus Superman messy. There's no character development or anything in the film.
I think you can't see it as a film. I think it's not. It's the 10th episode of a series.
That's the thing. Well, it doesn't need character development in the film because it's got 10 years and 20 films of character development.
Yeah.
So you're with it. So I'm not criticising it in that terms. It is what it's earned.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's earned the right to be this film.
Has earned the right to be that
every
film.
element of it is last act, isn't it?
Yeah,
Everything is a last act.
It's like the whole film is the very end battle from Return of the King and then all the goodbyes. That's what this film is. It doesn't work by itself. Like you know any other narrative, you would need the preceding.
I mean, but that's the whole point of the MCU.
But that's the whole point. Yeah, that's where it can benefit, and that's where DC failed because they thought they could go straight into doing that.
They started at the end,
and they ended up with. I imagine if I was to just watch this film, having not seen any of the others, it's a mess of a film. But if you've got those 20 films,
there's a lot of emotional weight that comes from knowing the references, isn't there? Kind of
yeah.
When Cap stumbles across Carter and things like that. it all means more, doesn't it?
I don't think there's any other example of this, is there? Like, this is the... I mean, apart
Not
from
to this extent.
in TV...
I don't know. It's like if you were to watch episode 9, or you saw
But
Han Solo die.
each Star Wars film works as a standalone.
Self-contained, yeah. To be
Doesn't
fair,
it?
you see who Han
Self-contained.
Solo is,
You could
don't you?
literally watch any Star Wars film
Yeah.
by itself and it would make sense. I can't think of any other time when this has been the case. Like, even James Bond and things, it's... You don't...
Except
that's
that's
James Bond
solid.
That's the opposite. You don't need to know anything from any
Yeah.
of the other films. But this relies entirely upon 10 years of devotion.
And if you haven't seen Infinity War, you wouldn't really get... You'd see Thanos as this evil character, and actually...
Yeah.
I think Thanos is a lot more than that, isn't he? Based on the first film.
Well, it's 2 different Thanoses, isn't it, as well? Like,
Yeah,
I think
young,
Infinity War
gung-ho
Thanos is someone
Thanos.
he's developed and he's got a character development.
By the end, he's
and
like,
been on
he's
a
got
journey.
respect for people. Like, he respects Iron Man enough to keep him alive and things, doesn't he?
Whereas in Endgame, he's still in his raw sort of hunt mode for all he cares
stones.
about is getting the stones. He hasn't had any of this sort of any of these meetings or any of these character developments.
But once he's had the stones, he realises how evil they are, doesn't he? And he destroys them.
Yeah.
And literally cripples himself to do it. So
So it's but I mean, fair dues. I mean, I can't believe this has sort of been pulled off. I mean, it's a bit of a minor miracle.
Yeah.
As far as I'm
It's a
concerned,
cinematic achievement. It's... I mean, it's definitely going on my list of this year. Not because of, like I said, but I've got issues with the filmmaking itself. But at the same time, I don't, because, like I said, it's...
I don't think it could have been done any better than it was done. I think it was pulled off
I
perfectly.
think that's right. Yeah.
I love the way they set up... because, I mean, they were always going to do it, but I love the way they set up Thor, Captain America and Iron Man just facing off against Thanos at the end before
I mean, the whole film's
got
one
into
big
it.
curtain call, isn't it? It's
yeah.
one final bout. And I love where all those characters are now placed. I think...
You're glad that Black Widow's place just splattered at the bottom of the cliff.
Yeah.
I like how she's placed.
Are you looking forward to her standalone film? It's just a crow eating her eyeball for 2 hours.
I think that'll be a prequel. That'll be a little girl going through the Russian system, won't it?
Do you reckon that's going to introduce new characters?
I think it'll be a
within that
flashback.
film?
I think
David Harbour's in it, so I'm thinking Hellboy.
Hell yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah, Black Widow and Hellboy.
They're co-owned, aren't they?
No,
Isn't
Dark Horse is more like DC.
I thought Dark Horse was a Marvel entity.
No,
To look into that.
maybe in your Thanos universe. But yeah, I watched Hellboy, by the way. I liked it.
I haven't watched it. I'm still trying to.
It's
I can wait. To see that one.
By the way, what did you guys think of the A-Force shot with all of the female superheroes in Endgame? in the
right.
Endgame battle?
It was ridiculously on the nose.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Like,
I loved
it's-
it, man.
Like, one of the things, just the very fact alone that it's going to upset all these like entitled fanboys online. Just for that, it's worth having in.
Honestly, that was
But-
that for me. That was I felt like when Captain America had Mjolnir and the way he just turned around and you were like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's badass.
but when the A-Force happened, I was also like, oh, I thought
You know
that was
what?
the coolest thing.
I didn't notice. I didn't notice they were all women. I just thought, oh, cool, these characters are fighting together. I didn't spot it. I didn't spot it.
I don't know, man. I, thought
I
it was
didn't
cool.
realise
And
that
when
happened. I
Evangeline
kind of
Lilly
saw
just
people
popped
coming
up.
out, and I wasn't looking that closely at who was in all the groups. I was just kind of taking it all in. And only because I think it was you told me after, that you thought it might annoy people. I didn't realise that had happened.
No, I thought it was. I think
I
a
was
great
lost in
scene.
the film.
It was fine.
When
it's-
they all came
it's-
out and
it's a bit on the
Strange
nose,
was
and I
bridging
think it's. But I mean, there's been so many scenes with all men together. It's not mentioned, so
No, I thought it was
fair
awesome.
enough.
I didn't have an issue with it.
It
I just thought
it was a little bit
it was
nonsensical. Yeah, it was like why have all
Of
the
course
why
it
have
was
all, why have
nonsensical.
all the men just suddenly disappeared?
I know, of course it was nonsensical, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It was almost like
watching,
they'd all gone to the toilet together and just
Yeah.
stepped out the door into the party.
Yeah,
But you know who else was quite good in this film, which I was a little bit surprised? I was worried about Captain Marvel going into this because I saw Captain Marvel at the cinema just only a couple of weeks before I saw Endgame, and I wasn't quite sold on Captain Marvel. I guess I'm still not sold, but I thought she was quite good.
Yeah, they didn't. They I think
Endgame.
they gave her stuff to do because
Yeah.
they wanted to kind of not make her the focus. But also,
I think moving forward, I think the original plan might have been to replace Captain America with Captain Marvel, but I think with some of the backlash they're getting, I think they'd be brave.
I think they don't care about that really because it clearly
Do you reckon?
Captain Marvel's grossed $1 billion, hasn't it? I don't think people care really.
I don't think there's going to be a.
It's a small minority. I think it's a small minority who really have any issue with Marvel and Brie
I think it would be
Larson.
foolish
yeah.
to try and replace Iron Man or Captain America at this point. I'll just keep making the films and then just see how it plays out. And
Do you
see who the
reckon,
fan favourite
because
is.
we now have Falcon is Captain America like in the comics, do you reckon we're going to get a new Captain America film following him? Or
Are
do
we
you
getting
reckon
a
Captain
Falcon
America is
series?
now going to be a much smaller character?
Well, he's going to be in the series, isn't he? The Disney
Yeah.
Plus.
He's not going to be.
I reckon
He's not a
that'll be a
super soldier
prequel.
though, is he?
That's
No,
what
he's just
annoys
a
me.
dude, isn't
He's
he?
got
He's just a
wings.
guy with wings.
You know
like-
what? I really liked
can
that
barely
scene
lift the
where he
shield.
he just stabs someone with the wings. He stabs a big monster with them. That's cool.
That was probably his best ever.
That was
scene,
his
isn't
best
it?
ever
I do feel like Bucky
And that
got a
says
bit
a lot.
shortchanged. I don't think he'd pass it on to his best friend
Yeah.
rather than a guy that he doesn't really know that well.
He knows. He knows.
He
Sam
knows
Wilson
him well.
well.
Have they had any scenes of that close and important, which is like, this is the guy that I want to pass this on to. This is the most important person in my
Winter
world.
Soldier.
Yeah, but
Like that-
Winter Soldier's like kind of clicky and in the head. You could just lose it at any minute.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a good
Sam
thing,
Wilson's
though.
handbag.
That'll make for a better film.
47.
But what-
I don't know the words.
What's a
I'm straight
vibranium
up.
shield going to change there, though? Like, he's got a vibranium
Poster.
arm. Like,
Yeah.
give him the shield.
I think he's no. I think Sam Wilson's the right choice out of the two of them. But I just think neither one of them.
Do you reckon there's a little bit of super serum, like somewhere stashed in that shield he's going to jab himself with? And
But you'd hope. Well, you'd hope. That's the only way it really works, isn't it? Otherwise, he
Yeah.
is just kind of like he's still.
he'd
just,
go up against Thanos with that shield and just get...
I think the
pummeled
biggest
to death,
hole in the
yeah.
MCU is obviously not going to be left by Cap, though. I think it's going to be left by Iron Man.
Yeah.
And I think the
He's
only
the
way
father
to
figure of
fill
the group,
that
isn't he?
Tony Stark-shaped hole, as we were saying, was Reed Richards. I think
Yeah.
introduced the Fantastic
Doctor
Four.
Strange is Tony Stark, isn't he? It's the same character. That's one of my issues. That's what I liked about Infinity War, was that they butt heads because they are the same person.
Yeah, I suppose.
I like Doctor Strange as well.
I
think
didn't
he
like
could do
didn't
well.
like Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange the film that much. I watched it again; it was better, but
I like Doctor
liked him
Strange,
a lot more
yeah.
as a secondary character. I don't think he's a leading role.
I think he could be a leading role. I quite liked him in Infinity. I think he sort of dominates. He's like, I'm just gonna do me.
In Infinity
kind of thing,
War,
yeah.
I think he was
Yeah.
perfect because
Yeah.
that role against other people works really well. I think in the first film, it was all right.
Yeah.
It wasn't not a bad film at all. I don't think there's any bad Marvel film, but
Yeah.
I just don't think he was the best thing in that film.
I do think he is a decent candidate to be a sort of
Leader.
leader within the MCU.
And he'll happily butt heads with people. He'll
Yeah.
happily take that Tony Stark role of being the kind of annoying kind of, I've got this idea, I'm going to stick to my guns.
I do think the Fantastic Four would give the next phase of the MCU a massive shot in the arm.
Because I mean, now Thanos is gone. We need something to build it. I'm thinking it's going to be Avengers X-Men is going to be the next big.
Apparently,
The
Disney
next
said it's a
big
long way
crossover.
off, though. They said it's a few years off.
Oh yeah, I reckon they'll slowly build it up because they're smart.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like another sort
Yeah.
of. There's not going to be
Yeah.
a massive movie event, is there, for a long time? I don't
No.
think.
And
It's- yeah.
I'd put my money on that.
My annoyance there is I want to buy the Blu-rays, and isn't Far From Home going to be the last Phase 3?
I think so.
But the Blu-ray that I've seen released so far has got everything but Endgame and Far From Home, so I'm going to have to buy the boxes and have those two off. It's like, I'd have to wait. So frustrating.
Who do you think should play Fantastic Four? I reckon they're going to be in the next 2 or 3 years. They'll be announced.
I think Miles Teller would be a great Reed Richards.
Michael
Bring
B.
Michael B. Jordan in.
Yeah. If they don't cast Zac Efron as the Human Torch, then there's something wrong with them.
I think
'cause
that'd be cool.
That's
Zac
the most
Efron.
perfect bit
Real
of casting.
playing like sassy.
Yeah. I saw some
loves
art
himself.
actually because I was just googling Zac Efron, like you do. And
Zac
that came
Efron
up.
abs.
And in the same article, someone had knocked up some brilliant fan art of him as Human Torch, and then also perfect casting: John Krasinski as Reed Richards,
I can see that.
and his real life wife as Emily
Ooh,
Blunt
yeah.
as Invisible Woman.
Ah.
They
I
also
think-
did John Cena as.
Oh, I was just about to say John Cena.
But that was awful. I would hate to see John Cena as Thing. That'd be terrible.
What about
Sorry,
Dwayne The
Joseph.
Rock Johnson?
No. He's bald, but
I do like.
you know who would make a great... Maybe Statham.
Or maybe Vin Diesel.
Oh my
could double
god,
up.
Statham as the Thing would
Yeah.
be brilliant.
Full Cockney
It's
Statham.
covering time. I can't do Statham impression, but yeah,
That's all right.
That'd be cracking. I'd love that.
We've done it. Salted.
Yeah.
Salt.
So Avengers Endgame. I mean, it's going to make all the money anyway. You don't need us to tell you to see it, but
You know what? Technically, it might not do as well as the last one because it's so much longer. They can't do as many screenings. Is the problem?
But it's going to be in the cinema for like
But it'll be
3
sold
years.
out.
They've been in
Yeah,
the cinema for
yeah.
a long time, and they've all sold out.
And
but
Captain Marvel still
Technically, they
said some
can't get as
cinemas,
many
isn't
screenings in though. I think it's like 2 less screenings a day at least.
I was saying to Rob, I still don't think this is going to be the top grosser for this year.
And I disagreed with your choice.
Right. If I put money down on the table now, Lion King.
Not Aladdin.
I'm not at all interested. You know, screw
Yeah,
this whole Disney remake
I know.
stuff.
I've not watched any of the live action Disneys.
Yeah.
I will put money on the table now. I reckon Lion King will destroy everything at the box office this year.
I don't think Disney care. They're going to have the top 5
Oh
films,
god, yeah.
aren't they?
Oh yeah, Disney.
Lion
Disney
King,
have won.
Aladdin,
Yeah.
Endgame,
Yeah.
Star Wars.
X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Yeah. I mean, I think Star Wars and Endgame will both be really high.
Yeah.
But I think Lion King's gonna.
Aladdin will be up there too.
You know what was really crap? Beauty and the Beast remake. I thought that was awful.
I haven't watched any
I've
of
not
them. I
watched
think
it.
I've
I've
just
watched Jungle
watched
Book.
Alice
Jungle
in
Book
Wonder.
was
Oh,
alright.
yeah, I didn't like Jungle Book.
Jungle Book's
I
okay,
didn't
but I
see
kept
that.
watching it thinking, oh, all this makes you want to do is watch the original.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's what it's for. just
Why
to
are they ashamed?
spike
Why are they
DVD
ashamed
sales.
to be musical as well? Like the
Yeah.
Jungle Book is a
You get
fantastic musical.
Bill Murray
and
humming
it's
a
just-
song for a second, don't you?
Yeah,
That's it.
that's rubbish.
You know what's better
music's
than the
part of it.
Jungle Book?
And the CGI is really creepy.
It really is.
X-Men Dark Phoenix.
X-Men, no, probably.
Titans.
But Mowgli? Well, Titans is better than
Oh, yeah,
Mowgli.
is that
I
Mowgli?
enjoyed
Who
Mowgli.
directed
Did you watch
Mowgli?
it? Yeah, I thought Mowgli was better than
Who
Jungle
directed
Book.
Mowgli? Wasn't that
Andy
big-
Serkis.
Yeah.
It's sort of
Yeah.
like a passion play. You can kind of, with Mowgli, you could kind of tell they sort of ran out of money at the end, or they kind of tried to wrap it up, or maybe they even lost faith because it kind of wraps up a little bit quickly. But up until that point, I thought Mowgli was a really good film, which
Has,
sort of
has
got
anyone
ignored.
seen Dumbo?
I don't have any interest in seeing Dumbo.
No.
No, I don't have any.
Me too.
I'd watch it for Danny DeVito.
The best
but
review I
even that's
saw
not
was
enough.
if you like Tim Burton and Disney, this is just production line. It just feels literally like they've just cranked it out.
Yeah.
And that was a positive review. They said it just feels very much like it's been driven out with no
I
real
really don't
interest.
see the point. I mean, obviously people are watching them. These
Wasn't
live action
Dumbo like
remakes.
an hour long, the film? It was really short, wasn't it?
The
first
original
one?
one,
Yeah,
yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah.
very long at all.
I think this one kind of retells the original story and then bolts on a sequel within
That's
the
what
film.
Tim
That's
Burton
what
does,
I've
isn't
heard.
it? Look at
Like, I mean,
Charlie
Alice.
the Battery. Alice.
It's a
yeah.
sequel, sort of, isn't it? But yeah. Avengers!
Go see it.
Assemble! Go see it.
The Endgame.
And then go see X-Men Dark Phoenix.
X-Men, I think it's going to be good. That's my
Shut
prediction.
up! Stop recording!
The year 3009.
Full contact karate.
It's her he's after.
Okay, so for those unfamiliar with the original series, The Twilight Zone's an anthology TV series created by Rod Serling. The episodes spanned various genres, including fantasy, science fiction, suspense, horror, and psychological thriller. And they often concluded with a macabre or unexpected twist. And they usually had a moral. The original series was shot entirely in black and white, ran on CBS for 5 seasons from 1959 to 1964. There were 156 episodes from this run. Do you guys know how many Rod Serling wrote out of those 156?
155.
One.
112.
None.
92
Wow.
Whoa.
of those 150. No wonder he died so early. He's bloody worked to death.
Well, chain smoking.
And the smoking kind of helped either.
Yeah, that's not good.
There have been movie adaptations, comics, books, stage adaptations, revivals, and most recently Jordan Peele's come back and he's helming the new 2019 series, which I've watched one of. Has anyone
I've watched the 4 so far.
good?
Good, but not as good,
Yeah.
if that makes
Were you
sense.
saying they were too long? Was one of your criticisms of them?
The one I saw, I felt like the original benefited from the fact that it was short.
25 minutes.
25
roughly.
minutes, half an hour.
With-
This did
with-
not
with
need an hour.
advertising.
Like, you can see the twist coming, like, by the 10-minute
Yeah,
mark.
yeah. Monster on Maple Street. I
And-
wrote down what I thought the twist was. That's kind of
Yeah,
right.
and then if you've got another
if you know
15
that,
minutes to
it's
watch
like,
it unfold,
come on.
it's a bit long.
Yeah.
And I think it benefits.
I think
from
Black
it.
Mirror is very good at not giving you a twist because they're not really always a twist, are they?
Yeah.
There's usually a twist within a twist and all sorts going on.
And I think that's where the new series might struggle because whereas
got
the original
competition.
series was pioneering, I think this new series is going to be a throwback.
Yeah.
Whereas we now live in a world where there's anthology TV series that are wicked.
Like Inside Number 9, which
Inside
is
Number 9,
dialed
which
to
is
11. with
incredible.
Genius.
Have you seen?
I've seen Inside Number 9.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I think
genius.
it's-
Did you watch the
I think
live
it's great.
episode?
No, I didn't see the live
You know
one,
what?
no.
Don't bother. I think if
Yeah.
you didn't see it live, you miss out, don't you?
Yeah, that was the one that I
My
never
wife's
watched
dad
live
watched-
TV, but watching
Yeah.
that was absolutely incredible.
It was wonderful. It
Like,
was so clever how they did it.
Yeah.
And when you, it was. I don't want to talk about it too much in case it does spoil it for people, but it's so clever how they use the live element.
Are there any other modern anthology series? Was it Room 157 or something? The Duplass
I don't know.
brothers did,
Didn't see that.
where it's all set in the same motel room. Each episode at different years, different times,
I watched,
different
I
stories.
watched one called The Lost Room, which was that a motel room had been like the centre of like a kind of an epic power surge, and everything that had been in the room was bestowed with powers. So this one guy had like a bus ticket, and if you whack people on the head, they vanished, just appeared on the same road in Utah. And stuff like that. It's quite funny and silly. I'm not sure if that's that
Is
one.
that
Or something else.
is that a series?
Like a mini series about 8
I've not
episodes.
seen that.
It's great.
There was Electric Dreams. I didn't watch that.
Yeah, I
Was
watched
that
one.
any-
The first one was great, but I
Yeah.
ran out of time to watch more of it. I need to track
So I
the
mean,
rest down.
the idea of an anthology series
It's
is,
been taken
sort
up,
of
hasn't it?
coming back a little bit.
And Black
American
Mirror's-
Horror Story, I suppose,
Yeah,
has,
in a sense.
has elevated
Anthology
it and made it a
series.
series
Yeah.
different. So I mean, it's got a lot of competition now. But I'm curious, had you guys actually seen any of the original series before?
I've seen lots of them, but out of sequence, just on
Right.
TV here and there and things
Yeah,
like that.
I'm the same as
in
you.
reruns. But I've got the box set, but I've not actually gone through and watched them all in.
I mean, there's a lot of
Order.
episodes. I mean, 156. I mean, I've
Yeah,
watched
I've seen random ones.
like maybe 3 series, so that's 90 episodes or something. But there's still a lot I haven't seen.
The good thing is it's not a series where you need to watch it in sequence,
No,
really.
no.
There's no, like, over
Yeah.
arc
Like, yeah, if you
throughout
watch
the series.
one episode of season 7 of The X-Files and then
Yeah,
go back to season 3, it make no sense, would it?
yeah.
I've definitely I've seen some episodes, but I was I was definitely too young to be watching it at the time to know what was going on. Watching it with you guys recently, it's sort of like brought back I've definitely seen some
Yeah.
episodes kind of thing.
I remember
Was
being
it-
scared by it.
Was it that you've seen the episodes or you've seen, like, nods to the episodes in other things? Because
No,
that's what I realised.
I watched the 20,000 feet one with William Shatner. That one is sort of my first. I recognised the episode. That was the episode that I recognised from nods to that episode.
From The Simpsons,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, Johnny Bravo was the was the episode. There was there was a clown on the plane wing, and Johnny Bravo just couldn't convince the stewardess that there was a clown on the plane wing. But it turns out in the episode that there's one on one wing and there's one on the other wings to make sure that the plane's balanced.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah. So it was a pretty good episode of Johnny Bravo, to be fair.
I feel like with The Simpsons, there's that many episodes, they've run out of episodes themselves, and they must just be doing Twilight Zone episodes
I mean,
now.
every Treehouse of Horror
It's a Twilight Zone in there.
is
yeah.
a Twilight Zone adaptation, pretty
Yeah.
much. And I think that's where a lot of the ones I'd see. Because in the UK, I
The
don't
Monkey
think
Hand
Twilight
and
Zone
things.
was shown very often.
No,
Like,
I've only
it's not
seen
like
it.
the original Star Trek and things were broadcast here a lot, but the
Sunday
original
morning,
Twilight
wasn't
Zone,
it?
I don't think so. So
I think Stewie or Brian murdered Rod Serling in one of the Family Guy episodes.
Oh, okay.
It was when the trophy disappeared, trophy episode, and then Rod Serling spoke about it at the end. It all went black and white, and he was smoking. I think it might have been Brian. Yeah, because Brian was the one who stole the trophy, and then he buried the
to stop
trophy,
him.
and then Rod Serling was speaking about it. So I guess Brian was like, "Shit, this guy knows." So then he killed Rod Serling in the middle of his speech.
do you know?
Are there any episodes that actually do that, where the characters can see and hear
When
Rod
see-
Sterling? That'd be great.
I think I saw a video of the characters reacting to him narrating. Someone edited together
That'd be
really
good.
cleverly. That was really good. Do you know when people ask that, if you could have anyone living or dead at a dinner party, Rod Serling would definitely be
I think
one of
so, Rod
mine.
Stewart.
I think it's incredible. Just 5 Rods.
Rod Stewart.
Rod Stewart.
Rod Sterling.
It'd get a bit
Rod
annoying.
Hall and Amy.
Wouldn't
Rod,
it get a
Roddy
bit annoying?
McDowell.
Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper. That'd be our dinner. Amazing.
Would it get
That
annoying?
would be a really good
And
dinner.
just in The Simpsons, when Homer in space, isn't it? It's like the whole world. He puts a rod in and like blocks something.
Yeah.
And Homer's not the hero. They make the rod the hero.
Oh, that
the
rod.
tungsten rod.
Yeah.
Yeah, that as well.
Love it.
But can you imagine Rod Serling just narrating your meal for the whole evening? He's
That'd be
just- he's
brilliant.
just-
That'd be his job.
Yeah.
Oh man. The guy
Lucas
was
sat
incredible.
down. He's about to have a glass of wine.
I think he
What
would
he
get
doesn't
hit
know
in the
about this
face
glass
with a
of
spade
wine.
at the end.
I think Alex is really enjoying his broccoli.
Yeah.
What Alex does not know about this broccoli is that there was a secret twist.
It's got bacon all over it.
It would be tasty. It'd be nice.
And Alex is famously a vegan.
But Alex will enjoy this tasty treat and keep it quiet. He will not tell his wife. He will not tell anybody.
Well, Alex has already mentioned it, and I thought it'd be a really good place to start because it's probably the most famous episode of all time. Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. So this episode was based on a short story by Richard Matheson, who contributed 16 stories to the original series. He also did Nick of Time and The Invaders, which are really famous stories as well. In this episode, Bob Wilson, played by William Shatner, is on a flight when he sees a creature of some sort out on the wing
I
of
love
the
the creature.
aircraft. And
creature's
he's only
wonderful.
recently recovered from a nervous breakdown and isn't sure that what he is seeing is real. So what did we think of this episode?
I'm going to jump in with the creature because I know they weren't happy with the creature, were they? You were saying, Luke?
I don't think Richard Matheson was pleased with the creature.
But I love the creature's physics. I love that he floats up into the clouds whenever someone comes. That was really quite eerie still, and really had an effect on me. I still felt like, I didn't like that. Gentle.
When we watched it, we were saying how things from that era have dated so much better than things shot in like the 70s and 80s, especially the 80s.
If you watch some of the X-Files,
the transfer to video and things.
Yeah, watch X-Files now, the first series, it feels rough.
It looked, watch them on Blu-ray, they all look impeccable.
It does look clean, doesn't it?
Because it's film, isn't it? So film just looks good. Film is HD, isn't it?
But yeah, the creature is a pouty little guy in a onesie, isn't he? Pretty
furry gremlin.
Not particularly scary to look at.
Quite big.
I mean, shocking when he opens it up and he's there like.
But he just comes across as kind of cheeky, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's a cheeky chappy.
Yeah.
Just destroying the wig.
Like,
he looks a little bit like the guy. Do you know in The Shining when he looks in that bear guy giving that old man a blowjob?
The furry.
What's wrong with that? Why is that such a bad moment? It's like, to each their own.
That wasn't a ghost. Yeah, that was just.
Yeah. Maybe shut the door. That's your only crime there, though, guys. You know, the maid doesn't need to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, she's working a shift. She's got to go back to her kids after this. How's your shift at work, mummy? Oh, can't really talk about it, to be honest.
I've got a furry problem.
But
Come on, lads.
I mean, for me, that whole episode is just literally, it's just a series of like. Okay, so William Shatner's just sort of like, he's just come out of a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is the worst possible time for him to be seeing something like this.
Well, the real comment is on the way that we judge people who've been mentally ill, isn't it? And again, in the 50s, if you were mentally ill, you were cast off for life, weren't you? And that's the real comment.
And then watching his wife try to be patient with him kind of thing, because there's no way that... I mean, you just wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe that there's a cheeky furry on the wing that you're playing, would you? Like, it's just... It ain't...
Is this flight going to Comic-Con?
I mean, even if you didn't come out of a nervous breakdown, people would just think you were having one straight...
Or you're playing a joke.
Yeah. So, I mean, the fact... As stressful as it was watching it for me, because it's just like... There's a blood. I mean, it's there. Like, there ain't no doubt about it. And like when he opens the window, the curtain thing, the shutter. When he opens the shutter and the furries just. What?
Can we go back? Can we define what that is? Is it a window? Is it a shutter? Is it a curtain? A blind? That's important.
I would say it's a shutter.
I'd say a blind, but
a blind. I mean, it's kind of got blind qualities actually.
No, carry on.
Anyway, so when he opens the blind and he sees the furry just staring back at him with that awful face or whatever.
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
great.
Thing. And like that was a sort of a jump scare moment. But as stressful as it is watching it and saying, why don't you believe him? Like, it's there, kind of thing.
We're on her side, aren't we?
But yeah,
we sort of totally, in society, you would go with her.
I think probably my favourite moment in the episode is actually when the captain comes along and he starts to sort of humour him. And he's like, don't worry about it, sir. We've seen the creature on the wing.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, have you? And then William Shatner realises in that moment that he's just being humoured and he's like, forget it, you don't need to do this anymore.
Yeah, he's like, okay, I understand.
He realises in that moment that no one is ever going to believe him.
He's being babied.
That he's, and I think that's such a fantastic bit of writing, fantastic bit of acting by
Shatner does a really good job.
Bill Shatner.
Yeah, he just kind of steals the limelight, doesn't he?
Sweaty acting.
It is super sweaty acting, actually.
He commits, doesn't he? When he's going to do a shot moment, he commits to absolute terror.
Yeah.
I still think he maintains his good looks, though. I think he looks pretty handsome, even in a state of severe sweat.
Your favourite thing, Alex, is ranking actors' sexy moments.
I think he's pretty good looking.
Of the two Shatner stories, where is he sexiest?
He's definitely sexiest in The Nick of Time.
In the woolen polo shirt.
Yeah. I think he's
slightly less
but he's
sweaty.
more annoying in that than he is. But we'll talk about that. But like as annoying as he maybe is in this, you kind of feel for him and you can empathise with him.
So he's sexy in a sympathetic way rather than a pure machismo way.
That's my kind of guy.
Where was this in the grand scheme of like Shatner's career? Was this like really early on?
Yeah, well, I think this was a few years before Star Trek, wasn't it?
Before he really took off.
Yeah. I mean, the Twilight Zone was a breeding ground for sort of young talent. There were a lot of actors who sort of found...
Was Nimoy ever in it?
Yeah. He was in the episode. I'm pretty sure he was in the episode. Right. There's an episode where there's an American soldier and him and his troops are all sort of shooting at this cave full of Japanese soldiers. And I think Nimoy's in that. He's one of the troops. And then they're saying, these are human beings. We're not in any rush to go off and kill them. And he's calling them a bunch of weaklings and a bunch of cowards. He's saying, you're all yellow. Let's just go and kill all the Japanese. And then he bangs his head or something and he wakes up and he's Japanese. And it's like the same actor and he's just like, oh, what has happened to me? And it's like, it's
really
a real product of its time. But, it's putting himself in the other, the other guy's shoes
Full
for
cultural
10
appropriation,
minutes.
accents.
And then when he comes back, obviously, he's not in any hurry to go and kill all the Japanese soldiers because he realises that they're human too. But another great episode. And Nimoy was in that. But this episode, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, was one of the episodes that was remade for the movie, which I've never seen. And it was actually remade in the new series, isn't it? The 2019 revival. Is it Nightmare at 30,000 feet now?
No, they must have just lowered
the altitude
just for the episode.
What have you seen that one?
Yeah, it's Adam Scott plays Shatner's role.
Okay.
And it's pretty much identical, better effects. Not quite as sweaty.
The hour sort of time, is it 45 minutes? I guess with ads and things. How did they do that?
No, this one's slightly shorter. It's about 35
that
minutes.
Story doesn't work for a longest piece, does it? There'd be a lot of sitting on a plane talking and.
Instead of the gremlin on the wing, Adam Scott's character finds like an old school iPod in front of his seat on the plane. Starts listening to it, and it's almost like a Rod Serling kind of narrating the flight and what's going to happen.
That's cool.
Oh, okay.
And telling him about certain people on the
stop
flight.
there, Rob, because I don't want any spoilers. That sounds good.
I'm intrigued.
But they've changed the ending as well.
Yeah,
it makes it more interesting.
Oh, just the actual
brilliant
in full monkey suit coming at the end, and he said, "You see my iPod, mate?"
Twist. Yeah, like I said, Richard Matheson really wanted that to be dark and creepy, nearly invisible, but he said it looked like a panda bear.
He's cute.
He was so gutted.
I'm going to see if I can get.
I don't know. I didn't have an issue with it.
I didn't have an issue.
No.
Like in the context of lifting up the blind. So the blind. I think it worked as a jump scare.
Was terrifying,
and it is quite a scary looking thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, this is one of the hardest episodes to shoot as well. It was directed by Richard Donner, who did Superman, Lethal Weapon. And apparently, due to the scheduling constraints of TV, and obviously they were shooting like 30 episodes a series, and a technical issue with some of the simulated weather and the airplane engines, it was really difficult to cram 3 days of work into 2, and all the cast and crew were just there for hours and hours and hours trying to get it done. But it doesn't show. I mean, obviously, it's...
I suppose the fact they put that much effort in means it looks masterful, doesn't it? It looks simple.
Yeah.
What did you guys...
Like a one-room...
What do you guys think of the end of that episode where it sort of legitimizes...
That's pure Twilight Zone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice bit of ruddy dialogue and just a little cut to damage to the wing.
It's a nice little ending because he's
going
going to be redeemed almost, isn't he? Like,
and even
is he though? Or will they all get some lightning damage the plane? Maybe he saw a flash of lightning.
But like as we watch it as well, we don't necessarily know that it's not just William Shatner seeing.
We still don't.
Something
we still don't know that, do we? It could be that it's pulled up. It could just be damage.
I feel that the ending for me legitimised what William Shatner was seeing. For me, I felt like that.
But he could have just seen a bit of metal flapping in the wind and filled in the blanks, couldn't he?
Well, Rod Serling's narration at the end says that people will soon see that he was right.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing how easily he manages to get a gun on that plane? Like he walks casually to the back of the plane, pretends to drop a pen or something.
Steal a gun from a
Steal
cop.
a gun. Oh, back to my seat.
Open the window.
Right. Yeah, loved it.
Early promise for a young Captain Kirk there, innit?
You can tell this is pre 9/11.
Yeah.
So, if we were to rate this episode, we need a good Twilight Zone rating system. What can we use?
10 scary doors.
Scary doors. So, like
Cigarettes.
floating eyeballs.
Monkey suited.
Panda bears.
Panda bear blowjobs. I don't know.
So, how many out of 10? How many monkey suited panda bear blowjobs would you give this film? This episode, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, Alex?
I'd give it like a solid 7 panda bear. Was it panda bear blowjob?
Yeah.
Monkey blowjobs?
Yeah.
I'll give it 7 panda bear monkey blowjobs.
out of 10 panda bear monkey blowjobs. Yeah. Rob?
I'd give it, relative to the other episodes we're going to discuss, a 6.5.
Ooh,
Panda
low.
bear monkey
What is
suited
a half
blowjobs.
panda monkey bear blowjobs.
You don't let him finish.
It would have been 6, but the sweating
the
added
sweat.
half a point.
Yeah.
You know what? I've got kind of 2 ideas in mind. One is that, again, I think I agree with Rob. I think a 6 for Panda Bear Monkey Blowjobs. But in terms of cultural importance of this episode, I think it's up there as a 10.
Yeah,
I think in
I'm
terms
going
of
to
how
go
it's
9. I'm going to
remembered.
say 9 or 10.
But yeah, the actual episode itself, I think is actually lower. I don't think it's as good
masterpiece
as
television.
I don't think it's as good as it probably is thought to be, but it's just lasted. It's had such an impact,
Yeah.
hasn't it?
Oh wow!
For me, it was probably one of the best episodes out of the 5 that we watched at the time. But as we've come further and further away from the episodes, and as I've rewatched them, it's sort of that episode sort of sunk below.
It's interesting because for you straight away that was like that's the best one.
Yeah.
But now
It's sort of on reflection and rewatch. It's sort of
I've
the
got a
rankings
clear one in
changed.
mind. That's the best one. I've just given this a 10. I'm going to take it to 9 because I've got one that I think should be a 10. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm going to go 9 as well. So should we add that up?
9, 6.5,
7.
7.
31 and
31.5.
31.5
on this accurate rating system.
The Panda
Let's
Monkey
see how
Blowjob
the other
rating
episodes do.
Are we have the same rating system for all? The Panda Bear Monkey Blowjob system for everything, or would it be Nodding Devil?
We'll just see. We'll see what comes up naturally.
Okay.
You're invited to my party.
Find out how good you are.
Eat one lousy foot, they call you a cannibal.
So next up is an episode that I recommended in a previous episode when we were discussing The Thing. We have The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street. This one was written by Rod Serling. So Rob, what was this one about?
So essentially, it was a neighbourhood full of friendly people degenerates into a mob when Maple Street is suddenly plagued by strange and seemingly pre-planned power outages. Steve Brand, played by Claude Akins, tries to act as the voice of reason, but he's shouted down by his hot-headed neighbour Charlie, played by Jack Weston, as the residents' paranoia is stoked to a disastrous intensity.
Disastrous intensity.
Can I jump in?
I think that describes it quite well.
Describing it there improves the episode for me because I don't think that the person who directed it really communicated the pre-planned element of the shortage. To me, it just seemed like
Random.
power went out and they started getting it back up and it went house to house. And I didn't get any concept of, oh yeah, this is someone messing with them and doing things. I just
Really? Even when the car starts and then stops conveniently to sort of get that guy in,
I assumed it was
certain
more...
houses are on and off.
No, I assumed that was more kind of...
Their interpretation of what's
an EMP
happening.
or something and they're interpreting it the wrong way, yeah.
Yeah.
And his car's just playing up, yeah. I don't think it was communicated very well. I think it was poorly directed.
Ooh!
Yeah.
Ooh!
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't necessarily... Because I'm not sure we were supposed to... For me, that episode... I don't think you're supposed to know what's going on until the very end. I don't think you're supposed to be able to sort of figure it out, like what's going on.
Maybe I think they're trying to hide the twist because the twist you see it coming pretty quick, don't you?
Because they basically.
I think they're trying to hide the twist again, and that.
But you didn't get the twist. That's the whole
got
point.
the first part of the twist.
I think the point you make is right. I think the fact if it was obvious that it was pre-planned, then the episode wouldn't have been as.
Yeah.
It's all about the payoff.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe.
Is this paranoia? Or is this mob mentality? Or is this really something happening? And I think it plays that really well throughout the whole episode.
I think it's just basically a case of something's happened. There's no reason and there's no necessarily logical explanation, or there's too many logical explanations, and it's just people picking sides and then getting into the whole kind of conspiracy sort of element of what's happened.
Was the little kid called Tommy?
Oh, I can't remember.
Who really obtusely tried to explain the alien thing to people. Like
they believe him so quickly.
Yeah,
right.
he's an 8-year-old kid talking about aliens. Like, oh yeah,
the power goes out, and they're like, "Let's walk in town, see what's happening. Please don't go into town because actually it's probably aliens."
For me,
what, Tommy? It's aliens, you say?
For me, that kind of works because
it was the 50s.
Because these days, anyone who is sort of like pretends to be an expert assumes the role of expert, and people just listen to him and take that word as gospel. And I think that kid kind of played that role.
Possibly.
Yeah, in terms of
do we think that kid was the real kid, or do you reckon he was a plant?
Ooh.
That brings in my main criticism, as I know it's only a 20-25 minute episode, but the whole pacing of the story and how they all kind of delve to these thoughts so quickly based on what the kid says. Like, there's no sort of stretching out of the story.
So maybe this is one that would really benefit from a
an
revival,
hour.
like a newer a remake.
I think it worked today
Yeah.
very well with
Yeah.
fake news, Trump, and those kind of things.
I think the reason why it worked back then, though, is bear in mind this was the height of sort of Cold War paranoia, and
The commies.
and that would have been the most terrifying thing, having all your power go down all of a sudden.
And I guess it is a more like it is. I don't think you can necessarily imagine that kind of intense sort of skepticism these days, because I guess back then you were sort of looking for communists. Your neighbour
Everywhere.
could have been a communist.
Yeah.
Anyone could have been a communist. So anyone could have just sort of been behind this power outage, and this kid's already stirred up panic and skepticism.
And so when
among
they're
the
hearing
community.
aliens, they're really thinking communist, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, he says that, and they're thinking not
And then
alien
they-
spaceship, like communist, nig or something.
I think, and I don't think, I mean, if you think about it, society's not that far away from a complete and utter breakdown, is it? You're only like, what, 2 days without food, and then we start eating each other. Maybe not eating each other, but definitely like, you know, yeah.
That's the sort of playground that Rod Serling really enjoys sort of working in. He really loved working in sort of the human condition and what happens to us when all of the luxuries of modern life are taken away. You know, what happens to us deep down, you know, under the surface,
So-
what are we?
The aliens' plan is to use that to tear us apart.
Yeah.
Are they going to go small street to small street over the next
That's
50
the plan.
decades?
They're not in a rush.
Yeah.
Time's relative, Sam.
Really slow.
Like, time's relative.
I'm going to wipe out half of all the universe.
Yeah.
Street by street.
So the twist that the aliens are just flicking the lights on and off and getting people to kill each other because they're paranoid.
It's Thanos.
Yeah, that's one hell of a plan.
I
That's
thought- it's a patient plan.
It's a patient plan.
It's a patient plan, you have to admit, but I thought it was a pretty cool ending, whatever
Yeah,
kind
little
of thing.
double
Like
twist.
you think about it, and it's going to take them a really long time.
it would have been quicker.
And by the time they destroy a few streets, the original streets that they destroyed will have new people will have moved in. Like obviously,
Had kids, repopulated.
Yeah, and they will have changed the plan, I imagine.
So hey guys, remember the last guys? They tore each other apart. We got to be more
we need
understanding.
to do a sequel episode where they're still doing it like 50 years later, and it's
But
just like
on the
this.
street.
Tony, this plan's not working.
Yeah.
No, not even that.
It's working.
It's working.
Take it from the human perspective of, oh no, the lights are flicking. We need to start fighting. Let's pretend.
Oh, it's you. You're the alien.
Oh. Bang, you're dead. Oh, I am dead. You shot me with a gun.
I'm just humouring the aliens and their daft plan.
Time to move on, guys. We've got this street down.
Thing is, my favourite part of that episode, though, it's sort of like they're all sort of super deep into like this accusing everyone of what's going on, and they're all doing it. They're all in this same mode of accusations, you know, and then it gets to the point where the electrician dudes come in to put the power back on, but all they can see is like a shadowy figure. And then the guy who's got the gun just shoots him, which at that point, I think any one of them who had the gun would have shot
Still
him.
relevant today, isn't it?
Yeah.
Police brutality and things like that.
But then as soon as he shoots him, even though they were all in the same boat up until that point, they all just completely turn on him and say, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're the one who's in trouble now."
But it's so realistic. That's exactly what would happen,
Yeah.
and it's
Still
what
does.
fear does to people, isn't it? And I think it's a really, no matter what you think, you know, it might be a bit rushed and a bit, you know, of its time, but the core message there is.
Do you think Rod Serling is kind of pro-gun control, which would be really forward-thinking for the 50s, wouldn't it? First Amendment and everything.
I wonder. I need to look into that.
I mean, it is a
don't
gun
know.
control issue, isn't
Yeah,
it? They
it
just
is.
shot
If that guy
the
had a
dude.
gun, he wouldn't have a guy would have come in and said, "Fixing the power, guys."
Yeah.
Solved.
Yeah. So I think it could, you know, you
Wouldn't
could
happen
look
here,
at it
would it?
that
You'd have to
way.
run up and bludgeon them with like a wheelie bin in the UK or something. Just
Well, someone would, and then we'd all blame him. Like, what you bludgeoning
Alex,
with
what
the
you
wheelie
bludgeoning
bin?
with the wheelie bin for?
Oh, you all told me to do it.
There's actually an episode in the new series that aired last week called
Wheelie bin bludgeoner.
called A Traveller with Stephen Yeun as the main character, and you can tell it has a lot of inspiration from Maple Street. It's all about paranoia and the commies, as Sam put it. So I'd recommend that if you enjoyed this episode.
I mean, I do think society is very fragile, so this kind of is more interesting.
Yeah, it just
to me
shows it
in that
doesn't
sense.
take much
Yeah,
to send people
I
over
had
the
a power
edge.
cut once
is
in
it?
my old house.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen Lisa for a
I had
while.
a power cut. Well, no, we had an old neighbour
Yeah,
called Gary. He was 82.
yeah.
I killed him.
Oh,
He was 80.
Like,
with the wheelie bin.
yeah. I just beat him around the head with a wheelie bin. It's full of garden waste. I hadn't been collecting weeks because of the stupid council.
Yeah, at least
I was in a state of fear, a state of paranoia.
Annoyance at the
And
council.
my reaction, it was stoked to a disastrous intensity. So yeah, Monster Joe Maple Street. So how many paranoid, gun-toting American suburbanites would you give this out of 10? This episode?
I'd give it 8.5 out of 10.
Is that half a child? Is it the half of
little Tommy?
my old neighbour that's left?
A quarter of a child, a quarter of your neighbour. Of what's left.
8.5.
Yeah. I liked it, man.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty true to reality.
Yeah.
So
I thought this would be right up your street.
Yeah,
Alex likes a little bit of philosophy and a little bit of meditation on the human condition.
It's good for the
So
soul,
this is the kind of thing that... Sam, what do you reckon?
I think it's badly directed. I give it 4. But I like the story.
Yeah.
Again, stronger story, but poorly put together.
You know it was directed by Stanley Kubrick, yeah?
He was busy. He was busy planning the moon landing.
It wasn't. Rob?
I'd give it a 6. This was probably my least favourite of the 5. Not to say it was bad, but I think my issues with the pacing brought my score down.
And it's hard to rate them when you've got other ones in mind.
I think that's why these are so low.
Yeah.
If I was rating this on its own merits, it'd be a lot higher.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go for about an 8 on this one. Yeah, very good. So what we've got?
I really
What's
enjoyed
this?
it.
8.
4. It's 12.
6. 18. Bad maths.
8.5. It's 26.5.
Yeah.
26.5. Gun-toting American.
Not as good.
This podcast is about to break down.
It wasn't just any game.
A wonder-filled fantasy. Something so evil.
So our next episode is another Richard Matheson contribution and another one starring William Shatner. So we've got Nick of Time, which is about what, Alex?
It is about a pair of newlyweds stopping in a small town who are trapped by their own superstition when playing a fortune-telling machine in a local diner.
Pretty accurate description.
Sums it up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
I think that shows how simple the premise is for this episode.
I couldn't believe how simple it was. Like, honestly, because everyone knows that devil's head or whatever. I knew it's from somewhere. I don't know where I knew it from, but like I recognised it immediately. And I was waiting for the episode to get more extreme or just something else to happen, like other facets to come
Should
into
we
play.
kill the diner boss?
Yeah. But like
remains to be seen.
Nothing
I should go and do
happened. Like I say, nothing happened. Nothing happened beyond this focal point. It was just this fortune-telling napkin holder, wasn't it? It was the whole thing.
I think that's why it works so well.
Yeah.
It's so simple but
Almost
effective.
silly.
and you'll
effective,
find that that's such a simple premise. If you were to Google, top Twilight episodes,
Twilight
Zone. If you were to Google top episodes of all time of this series, that's always in the top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Like Nick of Time. And I think it's a combination of fantastic writing and once again performances by
great
Shatner
performance.
Still
masterclass.
Shatner and
I think it's another episode where it's just stayed with me. I think I didn't really enjoy watching it, but then when I rewatched it the other day, I enjoyed it a lot more. And I guess my expectations of the episode were different when I rewatched it.
I think that when we watch this one suffers from the point of when you're watching them in a chunk, you're watching waiting for a twist, aren't you? You're thinking what's going to happen to make this one stand out, what's going to be different. And with this one, it's literally the last moments, isn't the seconds when they walk out and another couple walks in.
yeah.
And that's when you see the real twist ending.
I think the thing that's clever about Twilight Zone, there's a lot of sci-fi we watch now where there's robots, aliens, clones, whatever in it,
High concept.
and it's not saying anything. Whereas Twilight Zone has got a core moral or a message that is wrapped up in a sci-fi bow.
Yeah.
That's the thing I love about good sci-fi. It's always got something important to say.
Exactly, and each episode has something to say. And this one, it's a very on the nose. People trapped by their superstition.
Yeah.
or people afraid to make their own decisions and like waiting for something to happen or waiting for a nudge from somewhere else to get them.
That same thing can be said for good zombie films. A bad zombie film has nothing to say about the world, but good zombie films,
zombies,
the zombies stand in for something that we're scared of, don't they?
Yeah.
Like 28 Days Later, it's rabies and mad cow disease.
I mean, that's how the genre was birthed, wasn't it? With Romero, it's something to say.
I think it's a very similar kind of thing, really.
Yeah.
But it only works when it's an allegory.
I mean, we literally start with a couple who are driving off into the sunset.
My favourite thing there is that they describe him as the male member of a honeymoon team.
Yeah. A member of a honeymoon team. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just their car's broken down, so they're like sort of like chilling.
Bit trapped for a moment, relax.
While they're waiting for the car repair, but it's just so they are literally just going through the town, and then it's just. What I quite liked about it in the second viewing was how quickly he got drawn in to sort of the addictiveness of.
Do we assume it's the same character and he's just forgotten who he was? He's pre-programmed.
Well, I mean, you can already tell he's got the lucky rabbit's foot on his like key ring and stuff. So it's planted that he's a superstitious kind of guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does hook him really quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it says a lot about addiction. Yeah, like it's just everything can be going well, and then all of a sudden you make one or two bad decisions. Yeah, and you
scratch cards.
Yeah, you sucked it. And the wife is like, I kind of feel sorry for her most of the episodes, but I don't think she does herself any favors.
Like she feeds it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
She should just smash it or something, like turn it round, say grow up.
And like when it's something like he asks the fortune, like, should we stay till 3:00, and then just trying to stay there, but then eventually they leave before 3:00. Which I think they've waited long enough that they should have just waited till after 3:00. But anyway, they leave before 3:00, and then he like forces her to cross the road while these cars are coming, and he puts her into danger and himself. Yeah. But then she sort of hugs him as if like, you saved me. Like,
was it a self-fulfilling prophecy? Was it? Would that have happened if they'd just left earlier?
Yeah.
It's kind of, I mean, for me, it almost had a little bit of something to say about religion as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's kind of like looking for those false correlations. Like, will I get the job? You'll definitely get the job. Sort of thing. These sort of cryptic messages.
If you pray on it, you'll get it, yeah.
But they're also vague.
But they're vague.
It's all about his perception of them.
He picks up the phone, he's got the job. And he assumes that he must have got it because of what the machine said. Yeah. Because of, predestiny but he was always going to get it. And it's about your interpretation.
Well, he was always going to get it or not get it, and
exactly
this thing he does has no state on it, does it?
It's like, what was it in? I was watching. Was it a documentary or was it Louis Theroux or something where he's talking to someone who believes in God, and he said the reason why I believe in God is because the one time I said I was thirsty, so I put my glass out of the window and it started to rain. So that's proof of a God. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of like, if you're looking for the clues, if you're looking for things, then you will make meaning out of anything.
I worked for a very religious head teacher, and she always told the story of walking on the beach, and God's there, and someone kept praying to God when they need help, and they said they look back, there's only one set of footprints when they're at their toughest times, and God said, that was when I carried you. And it's a great meme that someone's done, which is when the person said, why was there only one set of footprints at my worst times? They said, it's because sand people travel single file to hide their numbers.
I love that. That's brilliant. But yeah. No, I think I think Rod Serling might have been religious, actually. I mean, obviously of the
maybe
time.
An upbringing of religious.
Do you know what I mean? A lot of the time he talks about the God and how, a lot of the episodes deal with faith and deal with,
humans have to have even atheists believe in something, don't they? Which is that there is no God. Like, you have to have everyone's got like a faith structure.
You have to have faith in science to an extent.
Yeah.
Which is a full
I think we're naturally built in with that in mind, though. I read this thing once about how religion and about how faith sort of came to be, and it was really interesting because it was saying, think about evolution, think about man, early man. There's two men in a cave. One of them looks outside, sees the wind blowing, and looks at the grass as it blows in the wind, and imagines there's a tiger in there. And one of them doesn't. One of them has the imagination to imagine that something's happened, and one of them doesn't. Which one of those men survive? Well, it's obviously the one who imagined the tiger.
Yeah, because one time you will go out there and there will be a tiger.
And so it's an ability that has helped us become what we are as a species, to see things that aren't there. And I think for me that was the biggest explanation of where religion came from, because if we can look at a blind piece of grass and see tiger. If we can look at, you can look at anything and see a face, can't you? You know, we do that as a
I heard
species.
a thing about they looked at elephants, and elephants have to have faith in the matriarch that when she walks them like 20 miles across a burning savannah, that there's going to be a lake on the other side, and humans would have had the same thing when they had a wiser older person.
Well, we're a social species, yeah.
Who said, I know this, and the kind of, to say, I just know this because I know it, or I know this because I'm your mystic seer, you'd believe that person more, wouldn't you, if they can say there's some kind of faith behind it? And it's all built on that, isn't it?
Which brings us to the episode where you can put your faith in almost anything.
I do really enjoy the twist at the end with the other couple coming in and saying, "Can we leave tomorrow?" And it's like they're just broken.
So you've got the comparison of the two couples.
Could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good How episode. Many?
A deep cogitation on the human condition.
How would you rate this one?
How many elephant matriarchs would you give this episode out of 10?
Being carried by God.
Nick of time. I mean, I don't think I've got any criticisms of this episode. I think it's
a great episode.
I think it's damn near as perfect TV as you can get, and definitely damn near as perfect Twilight Zone.
I think for the period, it's perfect, isn't it?
Sam,
I'm gonna go. This is my 10.
This is your 10.
Yeah.
Going in, before seeing the other 4 episodes, this was my 10. But I'm going to give it a 9 because there's another one, which is my 10.
There's one that I would like to give an 11 now, actually, thinking about that. But I've got
you can't give 11.
I got 2 10s.
This is my 9.
I'm going to give it a 9 as well.
I think there's 2 perfect episodes that you picked out of this list.
28.
I'm going to give it an 8. Like, I think it was really good.
36.
Super good.
Well,
but no
matter what you say right now, this is the highest scoring episode, so you're wrong.
Sugar.
Sorry, but carry on.
No, I thought it was a really good episode. It just wasn't necessarily down my street necessarily as a personal, but it was a really neat episode, and I think it said a lot more than what you'd think it'd say.
Cool.
Is putting history at their fingertips.
Is to find a cure. We're an army of...
Directed by Douglas Hayes, the next stop on this strange and unusual bus stop tour of the Twilight Zone is Eye of the Beholder. Hayes directed 9 episodes of the Twilight Zone, including The After Hours, The Invaders, and The Howling Man. So, Eye of the Beholder, Sam, what's this episode about?
Janet Tyler is in hospital. She's undergone treatment to make her look normal. It's her 11th trip to the hospital for treatment because she's desperate to look just like everybody else. Some of her earliest childhood memories are of people looking away horrified, and we're waiting for her bandages to come off. And she can only hope that this, her last treatment, and I think they said it was the last one she can have, would have done the trick. If not, she'll be segregated into a colony of similar-looking people. Freaks just like her.
I know.
Oh, shit.
Alex is on his 9th operation to try and look normal.
I'm just trying to get my chin to grow out.
It's not
going. Otherwise you'll be in a colony with Michael Sheen.
Anymore.
Another incredibly famous episode. This one probably could contend for most famous episode.
My criticism of Maple Street being poorly directed, I think this is directed just masterfully.
Yeah.
It's so well shot.
I think it is amazingly shot. Like the way you can't see anyone's face, basically, can you?
But you don't. If you didn't really kind of know the twist, and this one I knew the twist because I've seen this one before. I think this one, you still might not get that because it's just shot so moodily.
It's shot so well that it doesn't give away what the twist is at all. The whole episode, for anyone who's not seen it, is shot like in Austin Powers when he's naked and his junk's being blocked by teapots and stuff. But it's that, but with faces, because the twist, the payoff, is that she's actually beautiful by our standards, and everyone else is hideous. And beauty is indeed in the eye of the beholder. So once again, commentary on
Western standards of beauty.
Yeah.
The way we view each other.
Global standards of beauty, innit?
Kind of.
Yeah.
There's this theorist called Baudrillard, a French guy, and he's got a theory called hyperreality. And it's that actually we don't like reality anymore. We prefer the fake version we get. So you'd rather see Kim Kardashian plastic and photoshopped and things because it's what we're so used to now. We're not used to seeing normal people. We're kind of...
Yeah, I mean, it is unusually like sort of perfectionist standards, isn't it? That sort of like weighing on society these days or whatever. And I guess I guess this completely and utterly plays on that because she's going through numerous surgeries up until the limit to try and become what everyone or what society demands her to be.
At Hollywood at the time, everyone there was starting on Photoshop, plastic surgery. Like Marilyn Monroe had her face done, had her chin done, things like that.
And like she's going through like massive emotional trauma. She's like you kind of feel for her, and it gets kind of annoying.
Take the bandage off to kind of wait.
Because it's just like. Yeah, come on, man! Like, just chill out, kind of thing. But
what surgery? Her face has not been touched. What surgery are they doing? There's nothing.
Well, they said they can't do surgery. They have to do injections. They said her bone structure wouldn't handle plastic surgery. So the voice. Can I just say you were saying about her talking about take the bandages off? Maxine Stewart, who did the voice all the way through, did such an impeccable voice acting job of this. So incredible. Sort of just. It's really hard to just have on the screen a bandaged face and be captivated, but you are. At no point does this episode feel like, ugh, I want to look away. Yeah. Because there's not much on screen. You don't see much. It's, like you say, it's very moodily shot. It's all shadows. But at no point are you bored by it.
There's a very creepy, overly touchy doctor.
Yeah, that doctor's very handsy. But it's the 50s, that's okay.
He's a handsy doctor. He'd have some lawsuits against him nowadays.
Oh, God, yeah.
I think you'd get off on hand acting, just I'm just hand acting.
I think that's the thing. There was a lot of hand acting because they couldn't rely on gestures, could they? But his hands often slipped down to like her chest and and he'd be very hands on with the nurses as well. So.
He was just
a caring man.
To be fair, like she's hideous by their standards, and she's obviously like gone through all this pain and torture that society has put her through. And just the gentle touch of a doctor's hand can just make you feel
on her
so
bosom.
much better. No one else wants to touch you on her bosom until she goes to the farm or wherever it is,
He's giving her a free.
Can I just say that three quarters of this podcast do not approve of sexual abuse by
I do
doctors
not approve of sexual abuse.
You're starting to get a reputation for these condoning certain behaviours here, Alex.
I do not condone sexual abuse. The doctor doesn't touch you. He doesn't know how you're feeling,
I mean, what's really good about this episode as well is in the background, you've kind of got this dystopia where it's led by an almost Hitler-like leader where everybody needs to be the same. Everybody needs to conform. Very 1984. And that's the sort of world that this is based in, but it's such like a little microcosm, and it focuses on.
I'd like to see more of that world.
Just that story.
A film of that universe would be really interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, it would be.
I think it says a lot that this sort of they're using the dictatorship to justify like this dictatorship is the society in which this scenario exists, but I mean we don't live in a dictatorship and. This scenario very much exists.
I mean, the sad reality is it's not as simple as one person tells you to look that way, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, the sad reality is that there's a lot of factors that contribute to our disappointment in ourselves and who we are and what we look like and what we, like I just think about, I don't know.
To be fair though, I do have a thoroughly unimpressive chin. I just can't. It's bothers. It
looks like you were born without a jaw.
I know.
Like a lower jaw.
I would never get plastic surgery. But if I did,
I can't tell your eyebrows start and your neck ends. It's like.
Have you seen me, myself, and Irene? Yeah. I would get that chin, like I would get that chin
with the dimple.
Yeah.
I'd love for us to paper mache a chin onto Alex one day and just see what happens.
I've never ever once looked at you and thought. You need more chin. That's not something I've considered, Alex.
This is where we step in and build you up.
Because you got a fine chin, Alex.
In the eye of your beholders here, you are beautiful.
Thanks, guys.
You are beautiful.
Yeah. But you've all got such lovely chin.
And you know what? I think if you were to shave up to there, I think it would give you a chin. Do you know what I mean? Like a George Lucas beard. I think if you were to...
Tormund in Game of Thrones, but just get some proper projection of that beard out.
Yeah.
Give yourself some, a couple of inches.
I've been thinking of a way to, maybe sort of...
Grow
accentuate it,
just so I can fit into society. I don't want to go to the farm, guys. Or wherever it is she goes.
What's your biggest insecurity, Ginger? Bald Sam?
I kind of wish that my ears were smaller.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you know what? I've never had an issue with my hair. I just shaved it off and got on with it, really.
Yeah.
I'm beautiful in every single way.
Nice one. Good. I'm glad this episode made you feel like that. Rob?
Well, Sam wanted smaller ears, so he can have mine because mine are really small. We can swap
Tiny
ears.
ears.
Yeah.
Luke?
Yeah. Oh, no. I'm just a mess. Yeah. Yeah, I'm wearing a hat today just because I had to hide as much as possible. So, no, I mean, this episode's great. Love it. Commentary once again on beauty and about how that's changed. You know, it's really interesting how perceptions of beauty have changed throughout the years, isn't it? Sort of, and different cultures as well. You know, you look at these cultures where they've got, you know, big lip discs and just crazy things that,
Totally
that they've just developed over the years.
Well,
and
look at ancient China when women had their feet bound to keep their feet tiny, and then they'd have
just the ideas of beauty,
trotters and
the
things.
extreme ideas of beauty, just crazy.
Head stretching in the Mayan Aztec times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's human condition, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why fight it, man? Why fight it?
Yeah.
I might stretch my head. My head's pretty big already. I might try and get it some real projection up there.
I guess the solution could be just move, innit? Like, so
go somewhere that you fit.
Yeah.
She did that right.
Because she was happy, wasn't she? He was like.
She looked like she's been tortured to live with a bunch of freaks, though. Because to her, they would be ugly, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
She would see them as living with freaks.
I think I felt comforted when the handsome dude
the sexy
turned
man.
up. Yeah.
How do you rate him on a level of sexiness?
Not quite as sexy. It was kind of like
he was
William
good-looking
Shatner.
chap.
Good-looking chap. Was he as good-looking as Shatner?
Not as good-looking as young William Shatner. No, he's just generic good-looking. I thought.
He could have been like early 50s heartthrob, couldn't he?
Yeah, kind of thing. So,
like a backing guy in Greece. In that kind of 50s setting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if I was her, I'd be pretty happy with that. Kind of just go to the farm with a bunch of other ugly people who are actually...
Do you think there's a farm?
Do you reckon we're in the farm?
Do you think that they actually just get ground down into Soylent Green?
Shizzle.
Is there even a farm? Is that a false promise?
Oh, no. And he's just taking the backhander.
He's like the...
So another episode we think that would benefit from a revival then?
Yeah. What's it
There's
called?
a lot more you could do with it.
I think they call it the Judas cow. The cow that they lead through the tunnel to make the other cows happy, and then that cow gets led off, and the other cows go into the mincer.
Oh, I don't know.
He's the Judas cow.
He is the Judas cow.
The handsome man's the Judas cow.
So how many handsome man Judas cows?
How many handsome man Judas cows would you give this episode out of 10? Would you reckon I have the beholder? How many handsome man Judas cows?
I think this is a 10. I think this is a 10 handsome Judas cows out of 10 handsome Judas cows.
I'm happy to give this 10 handsome man Judas cows.
This is my second 10. It's my second 10.
This is my 8.
Dude!
8 handsome man Judas cows.
38. This is the winner. Boom.
Is that the last one?
No, we've got one more.
One more to go.
So the final stop of our tour is It's a Good Life, with a teleplay by Rod Serling, adapted from a short story by Jerome Bixby, that famous author. This episode features the most horrifying creature you can imagine. A cute 6-year-old boy who can read your thoughts, and if you're not thinking really good thoughts, he can magically wish you off to the cornfield or worse. This has led to the entire world being held hostage to his every whim. So, guys, what did you think of the episode I made you watch?
Yeah, it was a really good episode, Luke. Really loved it. Best episode. Best episode.
I really enjoyed this episode. It was a good thing you chose this episode for us to watch.
Would you give it a 10 out of 10?
10? Are you guys kidding?
10 out of 10.
To me, no, really. Luke, you're supposed to watch these Twilight Zone episodes. I'm so sick of it, Luke.
No, Sam, you liked the episode.
I don't think I did.
No, it's a good
You're
episode.
a bad man, Sam.
You really liked the episode, Sam.
Sam.
Sam. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
When he can sit down by the
I
piano.
don't like it when the bad man says he didn't like my episode.
It's
You're a very bad man, Sam! You're a bad man!
Just send him to the cornfield, Luke. Send him to the cornfield.
He's gone. He was a real bad man.
It was a good thing that you sent him to the cornfield, Luke. It was a really good thing.
It was really good what you did there, Luke. Really good.
So, the return of the Ultimate Spinner, and it's changed a little bit. 7 episodes in, we're kind of getting that 7-episode itch, and we've basically decided to bin the format.
Change it up.
Bin the format.
Yeah, I think...
Leave our wives, start again.
I think the problem was, we kept getting Alex choosing stuff.
Yeah,
and we didn't want that anymore. So our brand new spinner has now got more than just our names on. We are still on there, guys, so there is a chance that we get to pick
Yay.
the focus
So
of an episode.
it's going to land on Alex again.
So it probably will land on Alex
No,
again.
we've changed this entire format so that I'm not going to be involved in this.
Yeah, I'm going to cross his name out.
Yeah.
But now the spinner has lots of things on there, lots of discussion points, ideas, things that we can talk about in future episodes. So we've got things like best movie adaptation of a Philip K. Dick film.
Best movie villain of all time.
Favourite superhero movie.
Favourite documentary.
Ooh.
Favourite flavour of slush puppy.
That's not on there, Sam.
I put it on there.
Oh, did you hear about
Post-it noted on.
Cineworld?
No.
Getting rid of the
Tango Ice Blast.
Ice Blasts.
Boycott Cineworld. Boycott Cineworld.
Go to the lighthouse.
Go to the lighthouse instead. they don't have Tango Ice Blast either. So it's fine. This one's good. A film you love that nobody else does. Or a film you hate that everybody else loves.
Yeah.
Yeah, so lots of different discussion points for future episodes. Watch this space as we evolve and become something new. Kind of like how Alien evolved from being a really good film franchise into something like Prometheus. We could make that similar journey. So, let's see what
There is
it
one
lands
person
on.
commenting on our YouTube videos who seems to really love
Yeah.
Prometheus.
Who?
I'm not sure that is. There's just a random comment saying, why do we keep attacking Prometheus?
Because it's terrible.
Prometheus sucks.
Maybe. Yeah.
So if you're reading that and that's your comment, you're
Screw
wrong.
you.
Yeah. we only have like 4 fans and we don't want you.
We're up to like 12 subscribers.
That's how bad it is. Right, let's give it a spin. And
Slush
we've
puppy.
got...
Ooh.
Best movie starring Ryan Reynolds. That's an interesting one.
I only know one person here who loves Ryan Reynolds more. So
You know what? There is one person out of the 4 of us who absolutely adores Ryan Reynolds.
Who could it be?
Alex!
I think you have to lead this one.
No, okay, guys, I'm fully willing to have another go and another episode, despite the fact that we changed the whole format so that I can stop.
Yeah, are you going to take point on this, yeah?
I'll take points
Right.
on this one.
Okay, so next episode is the best. We're going to argue for best movie starring Ryan Reynolds. I've already fought for Green Lantern being great.
Is this narrowed down to movie? Or is it TV series as well?
Ooh.
Can we do commercials for?
I think
vodka he's got.
It's a gin, aviation gin.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll keep
Ryan
it movies,
Reynolds.
but I wouldn't mind talking about 2 guys, a girl, and a pizza place.
That's okay.
just
Shall we get a
briefly.
bottle of his gin and get sloshed while we do it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea. We're coming for you, Ryan!
Reynolds.
At Vancity.
Beyond pleasure.
Toxic chemical waste. Are back.
So to finish up this episode, we are going to have our quiz. I'm going to see how much research you guys have done, see how much you've been paying attention. And we're going to start off with, question 1. So,
Seems fair.
I've already mentioned, but I want to see if you were listening to me. How many episodes were there in the original run of The Twilight Zone? And for a bonus, how many did Rod Serling write?
I think I've got an answer to this one.
Right, so we've got Alex has put 156 episodes, 98 by Rod Serling, 156 but 92 by Rod Serling, by Rob, and 127, 94. So Alex, you get 1 point because it
Yay.
was 156 episodes.
Nailed
Rob,
it.
you get 2 because Rob Serling did write 92 out of those, and Sam, sorry, you get none. Right, so we're off to a good start. Question 2. What was the name of the version of the Twilight Zone that was featured in Futurama? So we have Twat Fight Bone by Alex. I don't think it's that one. And we've got Rob and Sam who have put The Scary Door. It is indeed The Scary Door. The Scary Door is a fantastic Futurama version of the Twilight Zone. Question 3. In 1983, there was a movie adaptation of the Twilight Zone. And there were 4 directors at the helm. You get a point for each director that you can name. 4 directors who each tackled a different story. One of them was Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. I'm not sure what the other one was. I've not seen it. If anyone's seen it, let me know if it's any good.
83 was that?
83. Yeah, you're just trying to think of which directors are around about then. Right, quicker.
I've got no idea.
Panic.
It's gonna have to be a guess.
Okay.
4 guesses.
So we've got Stanley Kubrick, John Cusack, John Carpenter, and Renee Zellweger. Alex has made some really educated guesses there, but unfortunately there's no points for you. Rob's gone for Michael Bay, George Lucas, Stanley Kubrick, and Dave Bautista. Once again, none. Sorry. Leonard Nimoy, James Cameron, Joe Dante, and Ivan Reitman. Sam, you get 1 point.
For which one?
Nimoy.
For Joe Dante. So there were 4 segments, and they were directed by Steven Spielberg,
I was going to put him.
John Landis,
Oh, that'd be great.
Joe Dante, and George Miller. Mad Max.
Wow.
So some good directors. I've never seen it though.
People keeping track of their score, by the way.
Trying.
1.
Right, question 4. Who was the host of the 2002 revival series of The Twilight Zone?
2002.
Yeah, there was a 2002 revival. So who hosted that?
I think I just picked the host of Ripley's Believe It or Not. But I don't even know if he did that either. Do you want me to?
Oh, it should be.
Is that the new one? It's Ripley's Blue. I read.
Yeah, I think he's. Yeah.
Right, so Alex has gone for Bruce Campbell, which is incorrect. Sam's gone for Bill Shatner, which would have been a really brilliant thing, but no, it wasn't. And Brian Blessed, no. The answer was Forrest Whitaker.
What?
Yeah. Forrest Whitaker was the host of the 2002 series. And actually, I've not watched many. They did a sequel to It's a Good Life called It's Still a Good Life.
Okay.
The kid, Anthony Fremont, he's an adult now. And the boy who played his mom in it is
Still in it.
still in it.
It's one really of these about a guy who they thought had killed his wife, but he hadn't because he'd bought fresh bagels.
Oh,
and you never buy fresh bagels if you're going to kill your wife.
Wow. Deep cut there, Sam. Taken 3 reference for any Taken 3 fans.
I love Taken 3.
I know he didn't do
You
it because
don't.
he bought the bagels.
I love Taken.
Oh, okay.
I can watch Taken 2
Have you seen
and
Taken 3?
Yeah.
With the bagels.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no way he killed his wife. No man buys fresh bagels and then kills his wife.
Sometimes the other way around, though.
Taken 3 is the one with the explosions, though, right? Like,
I can't remember.
it's like,
it.
oh, she's over there. Or
After Taken 1, don't bother. Really.
It's the one with that famous scene where he jumps over a fence and it cuts like 50 times. Like, it's jumping over a fence looked like the hardest thing ever. Right, the final question. How many times is the word good repeated in the episode It's a Good Life?
Can we get close or has it got to be exact?
So I'll go for a point goes to the person who's nearest, or if you get it bang on, you get a point.
Okay.
So Alex has gone for 437. That would literally just be half an hour. Good.
Time's relative.
Rob's gone for 84. Sam's gone for 42. The point goes to Samuel. It was repeated 46 times.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's pretty close, man.
Yeah. There we go. So scores on the doors. What we got?
About
we
2.
got Sam with 2.
3.
Rob with 3.
I got 1 and a bonus point for Bruce Campbell.
Alex with 1. You didn't get a bonus point. You can't give yourself bonus points for Bruce Campbell. So well done, Rob. Rob, do you win every week?
I win most weeks.
Wow. Okay. Not that anyone's keeping track or anything.
It's always Rob.
But yeah. Well done.
Well done, Rob.
Yay.
We hate you, Rob.
The year 3009.
Full contact karate.
It's her he's after.
Okay, so that's it for another episode. Thank you very much for listening. Remember to like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, share us. Oh, we're on YouTube now. Check us out there.
Give us a little thumb up.
Give us a little thumb up. Give us a review.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell. All those things that you're supposed to do to support the channel. So join us next time when we look at our favourite Ryan Reynolds roles. It's going to be an interesting episode. And please remember that, for the record, prejudices can kill, suspicion can destroy, and a thoughtless, frightened search for a scapegoat has a fallout all its own for the children and the children yet unborn. And the pity of it is that these things cannot be confined to the Twilight Zone.
And if you piss off a kid, you'll end up in a cornfield.
See you next time.